wants to eat it.
I have tried to be your friend, but you will not listen to me. So you invited this monster. Don't make me kill somebody.
Ha 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 ha! Woo! While they sleep, we work! While they sleep, we work!
Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy, so keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
You speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even
Nosfero, does this word not sound like the death bird culling the living dead at dawn? It is the name both ghouls and demons dare not say, for they know it means death for the undead.
Are you guys ready for a fun stream? I hope so.
Good morning. Come on in. Coffee's good, fresh and hot. There's a waffle in the baker on the grill. We're making bacon. You're always welcome back.
Charge!
What is up, all you fine people? Welcome to the Waffle Lodge. I know it has been a minute, but I am painting today. I'm working on a page, and I was in the mood to go to the Waffle Lodge. I've been in the mood for a while, but I updated my logo and a lot of the graphic design stuff that I'm doing, so I had to go in and fix that stuff before I could really go live. So I spent the day kind of getting, things up to date and also getting some pages on board. And, the amount of stuff that we do in a given day as comics gators, not coattail riders, like our dear friends in the opposition trying to police everything, is a lot. And every now and again, yeah, that's right, Stephen Rockwood Drawing. I want you to know something, Stephen Rockwood Drawing. I hear you and I see you, and I know what your needs are. Stephen Rockwood Drawing, by the way, is a Crypt Walker. He is a member of the channel, and so is General Piggy. It's great to see you both. Let's see who else we've got here in the chat. Who else is here? First, of course, is Rob the Replicator. I tip my cap to you, my Australian brother. It is great to see you in the chat. I hope you are well. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969, it is great to see you as well. Thanks for being here. Cranberry Langers is here. It was great seeing you earlier today. Great seeing you here again. Badger Boy, great to see you. I hope everything is going well. And yeah, let's paint. Let's get our art on. That's what we do here. B Rose, I tip my cap to you, a fellow lover of the chicken. That is the way it is. Mighty Magic, hail chat. Hail to you, my friend. Citizen Ronan, hail to you. Cranberry Langers again. And of course, we got Sumo Thori in the house. Good to see you, Sumo Thori. Art and Times with Jay Ryan. It is great to see you. We've got Waylam here. It's good to see you, Waylam. I hope you are doing well. Let's see here. Who else have we got? Badger Boy's here. Sumo Thori is here. Art and Times Jay Ryan I got. B Rose I've got here. Citizen Ronan I've got. Who else? General Piggy, of course, a member of the channel. It is great to see you, my friend. What else have we got? Dang it. Let me see if I can find Jeremy Burtz. It's great to see you, Jeremy Burtz. I tip my cap to you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. American Comics Company, as I like to say, you're always in good company when American Comics Company's in the house. We have got Demonized here. I tip my cap to you, Demonized. And we all have that moment where something in our forehead goes completely crazy. I know Nosfero can relate to that. Let's see who else we've got in here. We've got Godblade. Hail to you, my friend. And yeah, I've got Blade. Do you got Blade? I know you do. Julie Pascal, it is great to see you. I just tip of the cap to you, my lady. Let's see who else we've got here. B Rose, Stephen Rockwood dropping links like he's Oscar Mayer. It's great to see you. I step away for 5 minutes and Sean starts the stream. That's the way it is. I don't know why I'm that way, but I am. It's a strange thing. I got to stream when I can paint. That's all it is. It's just a pleat in the pants. Don't act like you're not impressed. That's right. Happy birthday to all. Indeed. Yeah. Happy birthday to KSSS, wherever you are, my friend. So here's what we're doing. Here's the order of business for our work today. Let me see if I can get that to focus a little bit more, even if it's in warped perspective. So I'm working on this page. I'm going to be doing 2 new pages this week. And we'll see, where it goes. But we're getting down to roughing in the figures for the final sort of act. This is kind of one of the last pages before we get into exclusively the final act stuff, which is going to be really fun to paint. But I have to tell you, the game has sort of changed when I'm working on this book. And the biggest way I can say that it's changed is in the sense that I know these characters so well when I'm painting them. It's like when you draw a character that's famous that you've seen 1,000 times, and you just kind of, you can picture it in your head. You understand what the character looks like. You can rotate it and everything like that in perspective. These characters have really kind of come into their own, and they have become real in a way that you hope when you start creating something they will become. And to set up this scene, which is kind of a culmination of a lot of different things happening in the story, is just really fun. Let's see what we've got here. Black Rose Comics, indeed. Everybody's saying hello. I love to see this stuff, guys. I love to see you guys, saying hello. So my secret to figuring out when I'm going to stream is actually not so secret. It's going to be somewhat random because I have to stream when I'm ready to paint for you guys. So I never know when I'm just going to go, okay, I'm ready to paint on stream. Now is the time, because it's just one of those things. It's, you get out the paints and I cut these boards down this morning, and I knew I was going to do painting at some point today, but I didn't know when I was going to get everything else sorted out. I probably spent most of the morning just updating little things. Like I made a much more specific to the different streams I do. I made a much more specific credits for channel members. Of course, the 2 cheerleaders are for the Waffle Lodge. They're here, and I made sure I uploaded them. All those different things that you got to do. Yeah, that guy does have a big squid, so to speak. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Well, it's interesting because when I'm looking at all this stuff like the Thulu mythos and all of that kind of thing, it's it's so, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I was listening to the audiobook of Call of Thulu last night, and one of the things about it that was really interesting to me was just all of the the crazy stuff about the bayous and Louisiana and all that cool stuff in it. And I just was thinking about how important that stuff is to me when I'm creating creatures, to give it that sort of rich kind of lived in look that he creates in his stories. And then also making sure that the figures are great, because this is what I'm looking for. This book is not kidding around. This is like Frazetta meets Hammer Horror meets comics. That's all it's about. Sean streams when he thinks he might catch me sleeping. I'm never going to catch you sleeping, man. I know how you roll. No worries. If you ever were here, I would be actually terrified and worried about if you're okay. That's that would probably be my first reaction. Like, oh God, is Stephen Rockwood all right? Is he okay? Bring me word of Stephen Rockwood being okay. That would be my reaction. But it's I love making comics and I love art, and it's such a funny thing because sometimes you have those days where you some more than others, where you just see a lot of like today when I was, for those of you guys who missed it, I just premiered a slightly cleaned up version of an old Walt Disney interview. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff about, just pop culture and some of the silliness. And it just sort of all, every now and again, you get far enough into something where you can kind of stop and think for a minute, and it seems like a dream. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's less so. And I was just thinking about like the just the absurdity of so much of the pop culture that I love being just completely, wrecked by these mega corporations. And I was thinking about just that's while that's that is what it is, and it's not something I'm particularly wild about, to be clear. Um, you just sort of realize you've got to just make sure you're always making your own stuff, and you've got to make sure that you're either making your own stuff or supporting alternative media and other work. And it just, I don't know why, in a strange sort of way, it got me fired up, because while it is terrifying on some levels to sort of leap into things. What's up, Apex Comics? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. While it is a little bit terrifying to leap into, something that you are completely responsible for. You're completely responsible. When you're doing independent work, there is no safety net. If the closest thing to a safety net we have is you guys, that's it. And, I just think the amount of things that you have to keep in your head while you're working, and then still make sure that you're being creative, still make sure that you're able to get to that zone to do your best work. There's so much to it. And I got to tell you, I love it. I just do. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now is because I did not want to be in a situation where other people would be telling me what my work had to be and what it couldn't be. And I had a belief that we could make cooler stuff on the other side. So I knew what comes with that. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing. Yeah. Making comics is fun, but damn stressful. Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of a crazy thing, because to me, I know people say this a lot, and I wouldn't say it's this, intense or moving or whatever. But it's a lot like having kids. It's completely worth it, and it takes everything you've got. And writing and creating your own comics and making work that, that fans are going to enjoy and be entertained by takes every skill you have. That's a good angle for that character. For which character? I'm almost terrified to think about what angle I had. Hey, what's up, Shadowhawk Talks? How are you doing, my friend? It's great to see you. I burned some mental neurons when producing comics. Yeah, and this was the thing. So Vaughn and I were reviewing Twins of Evil this past week, or not even reviewing it. We just discussed this stuff because we're not like, it's not a lot of heavy chin stroking, kind of like, what could this be? And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about just how inspired I was just looking at the visuals from that flick, and how just how amazed I am what people could do with a shoestring budget. And I don't think that ever changes. I don't think that it all comes down to, it's the creativity in terms of the imagination and the work ethic. That's really what it comes down to. And that's why, boxers are a huge inspiration for me. I love boxing, and I love fighters and all that sort of stuff. But they're a huge inspiration for me because of how, hard they push themselves, to make the best work they can. And that's what it comes down to. Of course, there's a giant phallus in that same old shop. Hey, listen, guys, this is the thing, man. I look at Frank Frazetta's work, and I look at the stuff that I love, and all right, I gotta rant a little bit about a flick today. Just a little bit while I work. Nothing too bad, but related to what I'm doing. One of the most, and hear me out, one of the most disappointing films I think I have seen in a long time, very long time, was The Northman. I don't know if you guys know that movie. It's by, I think, Robert Eggers, I think it is the name of the cat. He did The Witch, he did The Lighthouse and all that stuff, and they're like, now he's going to do this mainstream aimed testosterone-y flick or whatever. But it was more like testosterone, the San Francisco treat. It was such a feminist work. My mind was bent. It was like, now he's going to make a manly film about manly men for feminists. And I was actually genuinely curious to see what he was going to do with that work. And again, much to my I mean, I guess I should predict it at this point. There were things that happened in it and immediately took me out of the movie. I was like going, okay, so all right, so the dad turns out to be, awful. The 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 power of this character is going to pass on not to his son but to his daughter. Like, it was all these things, and I actually sat back. I gave these people the benefit of the doubt, man, and I was like, all right, let me see if this is actually what the myth was about. And then I read what the gist of the myth was, that it's basically a Hamlet story, except for the main character is actually survives and becomes king at the end. And I went, so you basically just made a more, weirdly emasculated kind of Hamlet story. And I love Hamlet, don't get me wrong. It's a great Shakespeare play. But I was like, why are we doing this? Why does it always have to go this way? It's a total bait and switch, man. It was totally. Sean's holy shit for Zebby, eat your heart out. Thank you. Thank you, Shadowhawk Talks. I appreciate it, man. I mean, that's what this is, man. We're not playing around. I did not leave an 18-year career, in case anybody's wondering. I did not leave an 18-year career doing something to not do something that I'm passionate about. And something that was going to, frankly, I needed something that was going to inspire me to do things that I've long wanted to do. And so this book is really going to be something special. It's going to be great. And every page of it, every time I do something new on this thing and I see how it's coming along, I'm like, oh yeah, there you go. That's exactly what we're shooting for. It's exceeded my expectations at this point because the story got richer as I developed it. And I'm trying to fight, actually it's not that hard to fight because I've got pretty decent discipline when it comes to focus. I'm one of those people that if I'm working on a painting and I've said, okay, I've got to get this much of the painting done, I could get a whole bunch of Comicsgate books in the mail and I will not let myself open them till I get to as far as I, need to get on a painting or work I have. So I'm one of those people who does not open the mail when I get something in the mail if I haven't finished my work for that day. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, if this is going to be completely balls to the wall. DDOY's secret alt account. Hail chat. What movie are you talking about? I'm talking about The Northman. That was the one that drove me crazy. I hated The Witch. I thought The Northman was crap, especially after all the hype. Let me see here. I'm all into Norse stuff, but the Vikings annoyed me, and I thought that The Northman was going to be over-the-top brutal. Glad I skipped it. Guys, how do I word this? It's everything in that is... how do I word it? It feels... It's very student filmy in terms of its mentality. I know that's something he does, but most importantly, yes, indeed. Y'all better be prepared to bring a lot of money when Sean puts up original artwork for sale. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, original artwork never goes below. With these pages, if I put these up, that's not going below 4 figures. That's just the way it is. Like, this shit's, my life, man. Mediocre is the best we can hope for a while. Yeah, but I had hope for this kid. I absolutely cannot wait to hold this book in my hands. I can't wait to absolutely see this book completely together. It's going to be great. Titty shots in every Viking movie. Well, here's the other thing too. There's a movie that's that I really enjoyed, and it actually does kind of try to make it more modern. But there's I think it's called Beowulf and Grendel. I love that movie. It's so good, I mean, it's my culture. There you go. I didn't think it bothered me what people do with it. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it just feels like everything is walked through a college administration these days. Yeah, it's so frustrating. I'd rather stick to Vinland Saga for my Norse revenge story. Absolutely be Rose. Well, here's another thing. There's movies I see every now and again that just can't get traction. That are really, I just enjoy. Dread is a really good example of that. I thought Dread was a crazy interesting movie. I loved, oh my gosh, our boy, what's his name? The actor playing Dread, but I thought he was fantastic in it. He clearly was not afraid to leave, the helmet on and, didn't have an ego where he had to, have the helmet off and everything like that. And I just thought he did a fantastic job in that. Everybody was great and really built up the world. I wish that we had seen a sequel of it, to be honest. But it's, I mean, I want to be inspired and I want to be as entertained as the next person. And that's what got me sort of fired up to work today, is that I find I'm going further and further into the past for my entertainment because I just don't feel entertained by the stuff I'm seeing. And that's why Nosfero is what it is. The big two aren't going to do this, guys. They are not. I bet it was amazing in 3D. Yeah. 13th Warrior is another movie I hear nothing but good things about. Think about that for a minute. Carl Urban, that's who it is. Yeah, our boy, man. Absolutely. 13th Warrior, I have yet to see, but we're going to review it, I think, at some point on Double Impact. That's the conversation. Yes, indeed. Excellent. Yeah. The Witch actually angered me because they clearly knew nothing about the Puritans, even though they claimed he did all this research. He made them cartoon characters. Well, I would agree with that, too. How did this Hellboy go so wrong? Yeah. It's one of those things to where, what's the best word I could say about it? He did research on like what people were holding and everything like that. But if you just read the synopsis of the story, it's not a telling of that story. It's a telling of every freaking, modern film that we see today. Like there was this point at the end where, it's like, and I see the future and, your line will continue. And, your power will pass to your daughter, who will be a great ruler. And I went, wait, hold on a second here. Hold on a second here, Iron Man. I was like going, what kind of movie is this? And I go, that seems kind of odd for that time. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm, aware of Egyptian history, but it landed with a thud. And then I started putting all this other stuff together. And then I was like going, I know if I read this myth, and I look at what the actual story is of this legend, it's going to be nothing like this. And to my, of course, not surprise, I went, this guy gets so much credit for doing research. And I got to say, there was some visually outstanding stuff in The Witch, and there was some interesting stuff, I would say, in The Northman. I didn't think it was as mind-blowing as people were saying. And the same thing goes with The Lighthouse. It's just to a point where it just feels like utter art school wankery. And I've had enough of that to last me a lifetime. Let's see here. Oh man, you will love it. I hear that all the time. Is that Mephistopheles you're painting? This is actually Drake Thulu. This is actually might as well be. Every time I paint this character, I have to tell you, Mephistopheles, in terms of in the comic sense, hey, what's up, Mighty Geek Studios? Great to see you again, man. In terms of in the comic sense, I never knew really about that character. I know that's sacrilege, but hear me out. And when people told me, they're like, you got to Google this character, and because he's always sitting on a throne, and I was like going, oh my gosh, man, that is so cool. But no, it's not. But great admiration for that character. It's very cool. I was just crossing Nosferatu with Cthulhu. That was basically, or Thulu. That was basically what my goal was for this. And of course, a healthy evening of Frazetta. But yeah, I cannot wait to see it. Yeah, there you go. Right. It's Outlander is another good Grendel variant. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I mean, I forget. I don't know where Beowulf and Grendel was filmed. I think it was, someone could look that up, but it stars Gerard Butler and absolutely brutal and raw in terms of how it tells the story. And it felt like, I don't know if this is going to make sense. It felt like that it was, like you were, I mean, yeah, it had its modern bits to it, but it just felt like you were experiencing what it would be like. And I freaking loved what they did with Grendel's mother. If you want to see a terrifying and badass scene, watch Grendel's mother coming on shore and just smashing people to pieces. What's up, Timmy Mello? Good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. And thanks for everybody who was in the chat, because I was watching Walt Disney talk, and people don't understand, man. When creators are starting out, he goes, And then, of course, the interviewer goes, "You've won all those awards with Snow White?" And he says, "Yes, and in 2 years I was bankrupt." And he goes, "Well, you also made Pinocchio." He goes, that did it. And people don't think about the war you're in. It's like to get eyeballs and to sell comic books and how much it costs to make this stuff. I went for a walk with my wife today, and the only thing we talked about was just going over, all of the details, trying to make sure that we've got everything as organized as possible. But we do that all the time. All the time. It's like it never leaves our minds, and it's that balance, because I think that's what every creative does. Everybody who's in Comicsgate has to be thinking in those terms, or else, it's like, you're not going to be able to deliver on all the things. Like the first thing, and I always tell her this, I go, the first thing is the book has to be dynamite. Has to be dynamite. And that's the part that everything is kind of built off of. Because if you wait for a book and it sucks, it's not going to, it's not going to work. Oh yeah, don't forget your thumbs up. Actually, Beowulf was animated. Oh yeah, that's right. That one I saw with Okay, so here's a funny story, or not a funny story, kind of a cool story. So I had been emailing and messaging Doug Chang, the concept artist at Ice Blink Studios. It's no longer there. He's worked on the Star Wars prequels and Terminator movies. And when I went out to San Francisco, he's like, "Do you guys want to come by the studio?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." So I went by his studio, and he's like, "Unfortunately, we've got a lot of copyright stuff we can't show you, a lot of NDA stuff, so we're going to have to meet in this room." And so we went over to this side room in his studio space that he had, and there was just wall to wall all this top secret Beowulf stuff, the concept sculptures and everything. And I was like going, "What's in the other room? Jimmy Hoffa?" I mean, it was ridiculous. "What's up, Green Laser? Good to see you, my friend." Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's oh, and thank you so much, Mighty Magic. It's the stuff that I do. It's a lot of it is just building up, your memory base and your memory banks of all these different, these different things you have to understand about how light works and all of that stuff. And I will say that it takes a while before you will ever have, like, at least for me anyway, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, before you'll have the comfort just painting in front of people. Because remember, I do use some reference for lighting and stuff like that on certain things, but a lot of the stuff you see me doing here is just me painting out of my head, because I've got at least a working understanding of anatomy and lighting and things like that, and I can always go and get more reference if I need it. And I think that's why a lot of people, it's very difficult to, and sort of a little bit more rare to see people who are painting out of their head in real time, because you've just got it magnifies the amount of problems you have, especially in traditional media. But I don't know. Sometimes I think traditional might be easier in some ways. You know what I mean? In the way of like committing, to what you're doing. So, excuse me. My goodness. Let's see here. That's what makes what Disney is today so much sadder, when you see what Walt envisioned and his enthusiasm, and they show over. Yeah, they sure did. The animation style is similar to video game cutscenes. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Oh, to the Beowulf animated. Yes, I totally get what you mean. Yes, it is. Yeah. I don't see the nipples yet. Well, we'll see. We see what we can do. No, it's not. It's just a roughing into the form, you degenerates. It's great to see you guys. What do you call it? Let's see here. Must be one there. Oh my God, you guys are hilarious, man. You guys are hilarious. Cracking me up. Let's see here. Holy Lord. I'm going to just do a little bit of a line right in here. I mean, you can see, like, when people talk to me about, what are your influences and things like that, guys. Again, I cannot overstate that my biggest influence, and probably will be, just because it was like, I don't know, it was like seeing something that you've always, known or something, is Alphonse Mucha. And you can see Alphonse Mucha in my panel borders. You can see Alphonse Mucha in the way I do smoke. All of that stuff is very, very Alphonse Mucha. I didn't learn about his stuff till I was in college, but he was an amazing amazing genius of Art Nouveau. He was a Czech artist, and he just did some of the sickest stuff you'll ever see. Just a real genius. And that's the stuff that I live for when I'm looking at artwork. It's beautiful. And I was lucky enough when I was visiting Skywalker Ranch a little while back. I was lucky because George Lucas has the original paintings of Byzantine Blonde and Byzantine Brunette. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tons and tons of Mucha in this. Tons of Mucha. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But it's very, I mean, I guess the biggest thing that anybody would, if I was, talking about like the things that are the hardest, is you really got to be able to draw the figure well and turn the figure really well. But the other thing is you have to be able to picture the story, and you have to be able to think about composition. Comics, especially when you're doing it, solo, including the publishing aspect of it, it's not just how much financial resources it takes. I mean, we talk about all that kind of stuff. People are like, oh, why are people YouTubing? I know Ethan's thing was, he goes, I want my YouTube channel to be able to pay for my expenses, for our family's expenses, so that, I can put the money here into the comics. That stuff frees you up, and that's big. I mean, every time you guys support this channel, and thank you members who are in the stream right now, every time you guys do that, it's making everything else so much more possible, because I don't have the coffers of some mega company. And I don't, so we have to get by like with our creativity, every single person here. And I love stuff like this. So I've got this figure pretty well, I've got him actually not pretty well. He's generally roughed in. He's not like, it's not the finest roughing in job for this character. But the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I planned to have this sort of like a smoking little lantern type thing there. I forget what you call these things. That's how articulate I am. I was going to have this here. And I can tell you where I got this from. I'm sure that this artist got it from other places. But there's a cover, a Moon Knight cover. And I sent this to Frega a little while ago on Twitter. I sent him a message. There's this Moon Knight cover by Stephen Platt with these really cool little candle things on it. When I saw it when I was a kid, I was like, I love that. It was very Art Nouveau. So, of course, I dug it. And yeah, thank you guys. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you're subscribed. True horror or almost pornographic. Well, that's true if you mean in the sense of what James Joyce said about didactic art versus pornographic art, which is to say that it exists to kind of ignite the senses. And I think that's pretty much what it is. Like, that's what that stuff is, and yes, check out Nosfero, a brazier. I think that makes some kind of sense. I'll see if I can get it. Back Bayor Brood of Cathal. Is that how I pronounce it? I think that is right there on Indiegogo, guys. But yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to get this stuff, to get quality stuff out there, and you have to just be ready to grind away on this thing, because it is. Your imagination is the thing that you have to fight with when it comes to the battle of resources. But yeah, since we don't live in that land of decadent imagination where money is of no consequences because we can do whatever we want and we'll be backed by investor cash, although that's drying up right now, we do have to be aware of those things. We do have to be aware of our limitations. Take a look at how that little movement with the paint over top, just how that sculpts out this form a little bit and starts to create that sweep. That's the stuff that when you mix that with painting, it just makes the stuff so much stronger. What's up, Robbie13? Good to see you. Something about your style here that is captivating. No, thank you very much. It's captivating. So many layers to the scene, man. I miss drawing. Well, listen, always feel free to pick up a pencil and draw along with me. It's important. Maybe it's a mirror bouncing light. Yeah, it's who knows? I'm all about decadent chocolate flair. Yeah, I mean, there's this quality of, to me anyway, of my artist heroes that is always, I love the romantic stuff. in the sense of composition and depth. And I love I just love that kind of what Kurosawa called the immaculate reality. That's the stuff I'm into, and it's very. I think one of the toughest things about any of us, like when we're doing stuff like this, is it's very tough to do almost anything else when you're when you're doing this work. Like I can talk while I stream with the chat, like I can kind of pay attention to it and mind it, but man, if I'm on another stream, there's like I can't get any of this stuff done. And it's normal. Like most people don't do art streams and carry on conversations at the same time, but I can do that somewhat. But it's when I'm dialing in on a page like this and you see me, I actually rarely do this on stream, come to think of it. You guys have seen me paint, but this is what it looks like when I'm more in the zone, if that makes sense. For those of you guys, yeah, I'm context free. Thank you. Do you think that do you think what Mandy and Pete are doing is going to be picked up by more people? Their Indiegogo alternative was impressive. I don't know. I haven't been following it, but I will check it out. All right, absolutely. Yeah, Cranberry Langers. Good evening to you, my friend. Braze Fear. Okay, I think I got it. Splat was insane. Absolutely. Marlo Alquiza, is that it? Told me once he hated inking Splat. He said it was so hard. I believe it. Wish I had snagged one of those watercolor tiers of Nosfero. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I do. It's I love that stuff. I'm limited to doing Mario Brothers murals on my kids' walls these days. Hey, listen, that's one of the best things you could do with your time ever. Of all the things, I was watching a video the other day of my son when he was like, he's like 4 or 5. And you can just see me talking to him. And he was reading a Lego book and he was learning how to read at the time. And I just thought, well, I don't regret ever, and I never will, a single minute I spent with my kids at those kinds of ages. So, yeah, if you're painting murals in your kids' rooms, you're doing it right, my friend. And hats off to you. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Me too, General Piggy. All right. Let me see here. Yeah. Oh, you guys. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you so much. Sorry, that was a typo. It's Braze long E sound. Oh, God, help me. Here. I'm not sure I know how to pronounce anything. Let's see here. Maybe next time at Jeremy Burt's. Yeah, guys, look, there are gonna be opportunities out there with stuff. I just got to the biggest thing I always tell people is that like when you're doing the hierarchy of things and like what is the most important thing. And I mean, I know you guys know this. I'm not telling you anything that's gonna like blow your minds here in the next few seconds. Apologies. But when you're doing things like this, the most important thing is the book. And I don't mean like in the sense of the most important thing is the art. It's all the art for art's sake. Well, yeah, it kind of is, but not in the sense that is like in a decadent sort of sense with it. It's the most important thing is that you make something that's worth having for the people. The people, like, because this is the thing, like, I know for a fact that when people start, getting this book, there's going to be a lot more people who miss out on this book than back this book. And it ain't going to be as cheap as it is now when I do this again. Because when my wife and I are looking at this, it's like, guys, every super chat, every single time you guys do stuff like that, that stuff is going into brushes. That stuff is going into, like, that's how we do this. And with this book, we have enough, obviously we have enough because we know what the fuck we're doing now. But it's like, we have this thing planned out. We know what we got to do, and we're making sure we can, get everything where it needs to be. However, I just know that my attitude is this: the people, we didn't know how the book was going to do. We had hopes, but the people who backed this book early, when this first run of it, are going to get it cheaper. I don't believe in offering it cheaper for a lower price, especially when you're already offering it, at a cheap price for what you're getting. And in terms of the quality of the print job we want to do, and also, my God, the work, and the time we're putting into it. But it's I know people are going to love it because it's going to be beautiful, guys. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen my other books, but it's crazy, man. Let's see here. I can't find the alt code for a long E, which is just E. That's right. Brazier, a portable heater consisting of a pan or stand for holding. Oh, lighted coals. Very cool. Very cool. You can never have enough. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, it's our attitude is that we see everything that we do. And I'm certainly not the first. I'm not the first genius to come up with this sort of, obvious kind of thing. But everything we do, we sort of see as an opportunity to make the project and make what we're doing going forward work. Like ultimately, this is about making Shanth and Jetty art, the enterprise, everything it can be, and help it to grow. And when I guess it was both heartwarming and sort of terrifying when you hear Walt talking about, yes, I did Snow White, I won all these accolades, and I was bankrupt a year later or 2 years later. Because every animated feature, everything he did had to pay for the next one. And it had to justify the next one. And so beautiful artwork, if nobody's buying it, and if, and streaming, if nobody's buying it or into it or whatever, it's not something, oh, fuck, that just worked out really nicely. It was an accident. Huh. Bob was right. Fucking hell, Bob Ross is always right, man. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, it's got to work. It's got to be something that works. The amount I've spent on just brushes, oil paints, and medium canvas in 16 years. Oh, it's crazy. I remember the Super Brazier. Brazier? Is that how you say it? Or Brazier? I don't know, at Dairy Queen. Yeah, I do like me some Dairy Queen. I'll say that. My phone is dying, so I got to go. All right, Mighty Magic. Take care, my friend. Have a great evening. Laugh out loud. The amount of time. Brushes. Yes. All right. Oil painting should be charged 4 figures. Takes a lot of time to paint. Yeah, guys. I mean, there's nobody who's doing good work in this field who, if you just were to make it an hourly rate, it wouldn't be in that kind of category. Because, and that's what I always say is that when I charge for my work, I'm usually charging well below what it would be if it was an hourly rate. Because you just put a certain amount of time into it, and certainly for skilled labor. I mean, when you work in concept art or you work in video games and things like that, my experience has been, what you get paid for that kind of stuff is different. You do comics in my opinion anyway, to create something and to build something that you have equity in. That is the primary reason for doing it. It's the same reason you build a YouTube channel, for that matter, is to build something that you own. And knowing YouTube and knowing all of those kinds of things, I've also got my YouTube channel backed up everywhere several times over, because you got to do it. You got to do it. Look at what Nick went through. Nick Ricada went through. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. I'd be pissed if I was him too. Let me see here. Grab a little bit of that. Grab a little bit of dark. And I'm going to go in. Kind of move that across right there. It scares me to think of how fast I'm going to be at doing this kind of stuff in a couple of years if things keep going this way. Because I am really starting to get more and more comfortable painting on stream. And, it's not like it's my first time painting or anything like that, but it is kind of a weird thing to do the broadcasting bit of this. There we go. There we go. We're getting there. Now we're cooking with cat grease. Let me adjust my glasses here. The burden of striving to improve what I haven't bought with CG. I've bought in classes and art. Absolutely. Art how-to books. I'm broke, but I'm happy with my investments. Only hopefully it pays off in the future. Well, here's the thing I always say, guys. There's a card that my wife got me that I really appreciate. And I want you guys to think about it and think about it seriously. Not like in the, it wasn't, not in this kind of rosy glasses kind of way. And I can't overstate this. Proceed as if success is inevitable. And take it seriously. Like you have a responsibility to make it happen. And Timmy, I know it's going to pay off. I absolutely know it is, because one of the things I see a lot of people, saying is, you get to a certain point where if you don't, the sooner you start trying to develop your skills, the sooner you get them. The sooner you start trying to improve your skills, the sooner you get them. But I did not know how to paint up until I was 20. And then I just barely started to learn how to paint. Barely. And I was terrified of it. and I didn't know how to play the violin 2 years ago. And now I'm like, learning to play different songs by ear and building my hand skills with it. So I always say, don't ever miss a moment where you could be learning something. Again, much like we were saying before, it's like spending time with your kids. Don't ever miss a moment if you can. I think I dated a brunette in the 90s. She have a lower back tattoo. I think I dated that brunette. I don't know if she does. No, she doesn't have a lower back tattoo. Here's a big thing. Nobody likes tattoos when they're having to illustrate them. I have no problem with tattoos on another person, but if I have to paint them rotating in space, God bless any artist who does that. But holy cow, is that tired? Wasn't that a brunette in the 90s? A portable heater in pan. Excellent, got that. Nosfero, there's the link to Nosfero. Thank you, Green Laser. Trust Ronan, Stamp, and Doc Martens. Yeah, go. Lost Pages 3 sign up by my brother Phil. Absolutely true. I painted it in 19. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm telling you, it's the myth of knowing how to do everything at a certain, by a certain age is crazy. When you think about, I don't know when, how old C.S. Lewis was, and it's not like it was his first rodeo writing and everything like that, but I don't know how old C.S. Lewis was when he wrote, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. His first, big, big is putting it mildly, his grand slam home run work of fiction. But, the same thing goes with Douglas Adams and Watership Down or any of these things. Just keep throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. If I had quit working on my artwork and I had just totally given up on comics, which I felt like doing a lot of times, even after a couple of pro jobs, I did a Flash Gordon story in the 75th anniversary hardcover that was written by Len Wein. And I was watching the Swamp Thing TV show, which I hadn't seen before, but I was just curious to check it out. It's actually kind of cool from what I saw. And it said Bernie Wrightson and Len Wein in the credits. And I went, holy shit, I did a short story for that guy. My God. But it's, how do I word it? We've got to start creating stuff that we own, because I don't want to be in the financial straits that I know guys like Len and a lot of our comic book legends have been in. It's the same thing with boxers, though. So it's probably just the nature of the beast in certain ways. But we've got to take this stuff very seriously, when we're doing this work, because our families kind of depend on us to do so, and it is what it is. Yeah, Mystic Snake, indeed. What's up, Bordeaux? Good to see you, my friend. Badger Boy, guys, I didn't think I was a great painter until 10 years passed. What matters is you're creating what you love. Absolutely. Pride in your work comes with time. Green Laser being 100%, though. Artists hate their work. Yeah, I think it takes some time. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wait, is Jay Lee in here? Oh, Jay Lee, evening. How are you doing? God, long time no see. How you doing, brother? But it's you. Yeah, you really have to. You have to know what it is you're doing. And I always say this is that the rule of thumb when it comes to pricing your work, if you're not pricing at a point to where you're happy to see it go, don't sell it. Keep it. Because there are fewer and fewer people every year who are doing traditional work. And maybe we'll see a big boom in this. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. But there's very few people doing it. And original paintings and that skill set is not something you should ever part with for cheap, because we know original artwork just goes up in value so much. Particularly, I mean, if it's skilled, that's all it's got to be, is have a certain amount of skill in it, and it's going to do all right. But particularly when you get, like, when I get people who are collecting my stuff and when they buy something, a lot of times, they'll want to buy the artwork, and then they'll want to buy the tracing paper overlay. And I've actually sold a lot of the process stuff for my work over the years, because people just love, either being a completist or it's affordable for them, and they're like, okay, like I remember I had a tracing paper overlay I did for this, I think it was, what was it for? I think it was for, I think it was for a Biolante inspired piece that I did in I think it was art book 1, maybe, or was it? I think it was art book 1, maybe it was art book 2. And I was thinking about tossing it because I was just trying to clear out some space. And another artist online was like, "Do not throw that out. I will buy it." It was crazy, man. That stuff happens. Let's see here. Yeah, good. Getting ready for my campaign for the Steins graphic novel. Got some CG names involved. Very cool. Big horror con coming up on the 18th, 19th, and 20th in Irving, Texas. Excellent. We'll be signing there. Well, excellent, man. Congratulations. That's great. Yeah, as an artist, you're always your biggest critic. Well, here's another thing, too. Don't be afraid to be your biggest fan, too. Be a little bit of both. Because I will say this, is that there's going to get to a point in your career and in your time as an artist where you're going to get feedback, and not every bit of feedback is going to be, or I should say, at a certain point, you just have to commit to improving. You know what I mean? And you'll find people who give you good feedback, but you'll also find a lot of people who give out, and I used to hate this as a teacher when I saw other teachers doing this stuff, who will give you canned advice. And someone's got to know your work a little bit. The better you get at your art, the harder it is to find mentors who can look at your stuff and actually give you usable advice. That's the problem. One of the problems with getting better is that you really can't, you get past a certain point where someone's like, maybe move that over a little bit. And it's like going, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but it's not, that's sort of not how it works. Like, even if I look at one of my heroes like Frank Frazetta, you could say, Frank, you forgot to paint the reins on those polar bears pulling that Viking, but does the painting miss it? I don't think so. Just sub to Jay Lee. Nice, man. Nice. Everybody's saying hello and howdy. Yeah, Jay Lee's The Steins novel. There it is on Amazon. Excellent stuff. And yeah, I think that's one of the big things where it's like when I look at Todd McFarlane's work, or I look at any of the people that I love. When I look at Bernie Wrightson stuff, it's like it's either got that quality, whatever that quality is, or it doesn't. And in Bernie Wrightson's case, man, I just got the Bernie Wrightson Artifact Edition with all that Swamp Thing stuff in it, and it is a feast. Holy cow, that book is incredible. Like, if people want to know who's in my head right now in terms of who's really inspiring me, and in terms of how I'm thinking about my work, Bernie Wrightson is currently in the lead with that. Certainly this week, because I got that book and I was just amazed by it. Such a great book, man. Bernie Wrightson, rest in peace, brother, and thank you for leaving a legacy of inspiration. Cannot overstate that. What a legend. Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I try to fight this, but I've been getting inspired for the next issue of this book. I guess that's a great thing in a way. Yeah, Bernie Wrightson on Batman, The Cult rocks my world. Yeah, I had that book. I think it came in separate issues. I can't remember, but I had the square bound one. I remember that cover with the Batman on the cover gritting his teeth. Maybe that was the collected version of it. I don't know. Or I feel like it was a single issue. God, it's been a while since I've held that book in my hand, because I don't have any in my comic collection anymore, from my childhood anyway. But yeah, that book was awesome. I loved the crazy ass Batmobile stuff they did. I loved the full page, fight scene, which is beating the living stuffing out of that cult leader. That was awesome. It was so cool, man. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of great comics, guys. We just have to, get back to making good entertainment, and then I think all the rest takes care of itself. Yeah, I wish I could tell you guys there was a thought process to a lot of the stuff I do, but it really is at a certain point. It's just you're in a zone. It's so much about muscle memory. I couldn't tell you what my logic is behind most of the stuff I do. It's just once you get into a zone, you're in a zone. I think that's why critique and critique culture is one thing, but I also think the best way to learn is production culture. We spend too much time talking about artwork and how to improve it, and not enough time making the next piece and getting on with the process of improving and having. I think the best critiques happen while you're actually working. You know, someone telling you, all right, you got to hold the brush a little differently to get more effect here. You got to do this. I actually always said that giving a critique to a piece of artwork that you didn't see get made. Oh yeah, that's it. That's what it was. Yeah, that was issue 4. That's right. I knew I was remembering that. And this is the thing, man. It's like, I look at this stuff and I think, like, when you're looking at it, you just go, it's like when you see a finished piece, it's a bit like looking at a crime scene, and trying to figure out what happened, and you don't know how like much time it took. You know, you're always got a chance of missing something. Whereas when you watch people draw, that's the thing, man. Listen, Stephen Rockwood, I'm working as fast as I can, man. But it's it's one of those things to where I don't know, man. I prefer to I used to make my students work in class so I could see what the hell they were doing, because, you know, if you're doing a piece of artwork and, you know, for an assignment, and it's taking you a million years and you can't possibly, you know, keep up that pace. Like you guys are seeing, like right now, this is about how fast a person should be able to paint. And it's still going to take you a while to create something like this. But this is about how fast you want to be at creating something with no reference, you know, out of your head in paint. Like, this is a decent speed. Is it the fastest speed? No, but there's not a lot of, when it comes to my stuff, I don't have a lot of, what's the word? I don't have a lot of systems for like how to, you know, oh, this is how I paint this. This is how I paint that, because I really want to, I mean, I have some, I guess, but I really want to paint things, you know, as least of the style is in how I make the stuff, but it doesn't start in terms of how I conceive it, where I'm like going, okay, this figure is, my figures are always a blob here and a blob there. You know, my stuff is very much about, you know, sculpting the form and the way that light kind of moves through things, and just trying to pull as much as I can from memory. Like, if you look at this right here, guys, this is all happening, you know, in real time. I'm building out this set for all intents and purposes here, you know, and you can get kind of a sense of like what one of the 2 panels on this very big splash page is going to be like, you know, and that's just the way it is, you know. Do you have any 30-gallon barrels of that blue shunt? I need it. That's my favorite color. I love manganese blue, I think is what it's called. It's a great color. I just ran across this on Indiegogo, Darkest Star graphic novel series. There you go. Yeah, but speed brings energy. Too much rendering weighs the image down. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't. There is. It's like Outback Steakhouse, guys. There's no rules, just right. Like you if you overthink your stuff, it totally deadens it. Like, this is the thing. When I was doing my art books, I have 2 art books. Some of you guys backed at that tier. The 2 art books I've done, you get 20 paintings, 20 fantasy paintings in each book. And you get a 1-to-1 shot on one page of it, so it's cropped, and then you get the full image on the next page so you can see how it was done. This right here is going to be 30 paintings, and every page has several paintings on it. And so an image like this, just this one panel, would have been a page of one of my art books before. And now it's like, it's crazy. Yeah, manganese. Let me see if I can find the color so my illiterate self can help there. And let's see if we can focus. And move down. There you go. That's the color blue I use. Great color. Really get a kick out of it. And I love what it does for the I love what it does for the other colors when it runs into them. Like when a cad orange hits that blue, it really just does great stuff. And that's, for me, that's like a big part of it. Like, a lot of what I'm doing right now is kind of like an underpainting in some senses, because I'm sort of building it up. And so I'll grab colors that I know will just help me to get the gist there. And it's always hard to get a smooth line, because I'm painting so fast that the paint under my hand is still kind of wet, still kind of damp. So I'm not so worried about smearing it, but it does drag my hand if I try to do a graceful line. So I have to watch it. And then I always try to keep, the one weird thing about painting on camera is I try to keep Sometimes to you know, I have to just force myself to rotate it. But so you guys can see what's going on, sometimes I'll like leave it in position like this when I really should be flipping it upside down and rotating it. But that's just part of the job, you know. There we go. Here we are. All right, let's see what else we can do here. Man, let me see here. Yeah, not manga. Manganese is a mineral. Yes, that's right. I believe. Yeah, I think it is. What kind of white do you use? He asked knowingly. You know what kind of white I use. I always, folks, use a tube of Malin white. Never forget it. No white is more powerful. Let's see here. Eric the Guapo, magazine blue and Prussian white. That's right. Oh, man, I absolutely, whenever I hear Prussian white or any of those things, man, I'm always thinking about, what's it called? I'm always thinking about my man, Bob Ross. Still crushing it on YouTube, still undefeated. And, yeah. Oh, you know who I was watching do some painting? I didn't stick around and watch the whole thing because I got distracted watching another one of my favorite YouTube channels, which is Townsend's, which is 18th century, living and living history kind of stuff. And it's really cool. Like they've got videos on like how to build bricks and stuff like that. Stuff I just love. And of course the history of the country and, just talking about like what kind of food Ichabod Crane is talking about and Sleepy Hollow. I mean, those guys, that's my jam, man. I love that stuff. But I did see Anna working, and it's nice, man. It's nice to see somebody else working in traditional like that. And she's just painting her ass off, which I dig, man. I want to see people working. I like that. I love seeing people working their asses off. And I will tell you this. I love entertaining you guys, and I love, if this is bringing something, I know you guys work hard all day. If this is bringing something nice to your day, then I've done my job, And it's like, and if it makes money for the missus and the kids, then I've done my job. It's the other big part of this. Got to keep myself in paints and brushes. That's what it's all about. And got to keep those wonderful people who are my why for why I do the things I do. I want to make sure that they're taken care of and they're proud of you, old man. That's how it works. That's the stuff that I care about the most. That's the stuff I care about the most. There we go. And you guys can start to see how that snake comes together. Yeah, painting is fun, man. Stephen Rockwood, I'm telling you, I love seeing that. Speaking of working shop, yeah, indeed. That's right. I could talk paintbrushes, paint, and paper canvas all day. Absolutely. Townsend, love that channel. Yes, Townsend is great. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a great channel. Getting a good camera angle while painting is a trip. Yes, it is. I love cadmium eggs during Easter. Yeah. Hey, listen, man, my friend does egg tempura with some cadmium. That's pretty scary to me, man. Getting that stuff can be toxic. Speaking of working shops, will you give my new channel a shout out? Yeah, sure, of course. What is it? Someone in the chat, post a link to the channel. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you know how it is here. Absolutamente. If someone wants to post the link to the channel, by all means do. Thank you, mods, by the way, for everything you do, guys. I couldn't do what I'm doing right now if I didn't have help. Because it's like, talking and keeping track of the paint. You guys have seen me on streams before where, someone will ask me a question and I'll just go, like my brain just shuts down because it's sort of like, you can juggle this many things and then someone throws you that one extra thing and you fall apart. And it's tough, man, because it takes, even though it's a separate thing from talking, when I have to, whenever I have to answer something that it just pulls on a certain part of my memory, it's difficult for me to call stuff up. And it's kind of, it's amazing because I can remember things pretty well, but the more I'm into this, in this zone, the painting zone, the more, it's hard for me to do that. And I still haven't figured out exactly why, because it doesn't feel like I'm thinking, that much in terms of intellectualizing what I'm doing. But clearly there's like a neural load I get to where my brain just says, kid, we're done. You don't get to ask me to do one more thing. It's like, what? Oh, man. There we go. And I think you guys can see the snake character now sort of coming into play a little bit more. We got a lot of our main characters here in this shot. Yep, there it is. There's Bordeaux's channel. Bordeaux, I hope that helps out. Yeah, cadmium egg tempera. Dude is going to die. Yeah, seriously, that stuff is dreadful. He works with all this toxic stuff, man. I don't know what to say. Yeah, the struggle of multitasking. Amen. Green Laser, thank you so much. We got good people in here. Green Laser's one of them. So is, look at all you guys. You guys are all great. I love seeing you guys. Let's see here. Well, multitasking is dividing your attention. Absolutely. You're using neurons on the right side of your brain when you draw or paint. Perhaps, yeah. Snake. I know. Stephen Rockwood, listen. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Other times, painting and speaking is no small feat. Yeah, people tell me that. You guys sub to Bordeaux. He has a 2-part interview with Dan Fraga and other cool things. Check it out. Snakey coming for that. But yeah. Tempura. Oh, gosh. Why'd you do that? I'm so hungry now, Jay Ryan. Tempera paint uses the yolk of the egg as a binder. Yeah, so one of my favorite tempera artists. I have a book of his kicking around here somewhere. Oh, no, actually, what am I saying? It's right here. Hang on a sec. I would love to say I'm inspired by this guy, but I got to him too late, so I just love him. I hope that's enough for you guys. I just love his stuff. This artist right here, Robert McGinnis, he used egg tempera, and I have a video of his painting process. This dude, look at this, man. Look at this Western painting. Look at those rocks. I mean, get on that, man. How good is that? Look at that like crazy color shift down there. I bet Malin would like those horses. But yeah, if you don't know his stuff, he did a lot of poster work. He did like a lot of James Bond stuff, movie poster stuff, but he was most famous for his pinups. And I'm gonna see if I can find some of them. But this is his egg tempera stuff. It was absolutely sick, man. It is gorgeous stuff. He did very cool, beautiful, pulpy stuff. Really great stuff. Check this out. If you want to be intimidated by work, throw this stuff in front of your stuff. That's what you got to do. You got to put this stuff. Guys, I've got this sitting next to me. I know this exists. I can't look away, right? Also next to me, I've got this right here, the Bernie Wrightson Artist Edition. If my shit can't hold up, and I've got 2 Frazetta books on this table, if my stuff is not holding up for what it is, and I mean composition, I mean majesty, I mean story, then I'm not doing my job. I'm not measuring myself off of contemporaries. I'm not measuring myself off of what's happening in the industry. I'm measuring myself off of all-time great artists. And I always say this. I sent an email to a fellow Comicsgate artist not long ago, and I said, dude, the stuff you're doing right now, Bernie Wrightson, Franklin Booth, and all those cats are looking down on and smiling, and I meant it. I think that's how you should, approach your stuff, because these guys that influence me, almost all of them really. Dave Stevens is another good example. They're gone. Who's going to pick up that mantle, or I should say, who's going to carry that torch for quality of art and for things like that? I mean, Bernie Wrightson, I don't know how long Bernie Wrightson took to do Frankenstein. I know it was a ton because I was watching an interview with him. But that book will stand the test of time forever. It's an, according to Hoyle, straight-up masterpiece. A defining work, And we were lucky to have Bernie Wrightson on Frankenstein, because at a certain point, Bernie Wrightson starts getting concept art, and it's like you missed your window to grab that stuff. So you got to back it and make it happen. Yeah. Frazetta's my man. I love Frazetta's stuff, man. There you go again. Another link. Thank you, Green Laser. I found wallpaper of that style in a house I renovated. I kept a section of it. Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. Yeah, picking up the baton. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Like, my brain is where it is. But yeah, you guys, there's a link to Nosfero, the Crypt Walker. Now, I want you to bear in mind when you see this, no pun intended with the bear. But I want you to bear in mind when you see this, like what this book is, what this book is about, what we're building with this book. There's action, adventure, horror, character development. That's what we're doing. When you guys see those pages in progress and you see how these things are coming together, this is a serious story, man. This is in terms of adventure and pulp. People always have, I don't know if you guys are like me, but I always feel like there's this comic book I want to see, or there's this movie I want to see, or this art I want to see that's got action and creatures and is sexy, and no one makes it because they either lack the imagination or they lack the balls. And I'm so tired of waiting for people, you know, to have the balls to make the stuff that's going to sing, that make the stuff that is going to be what we want to see. These are pages of a comic book, guys. These are pages of Nosfero. Like, this is what you're getting, man. This is what we're after. Darn right, Stephen Rockwood. Darn right. Do you guys get what I'm talking about? Like, these are characters. There's a story here. This stuff, I don't know how to describe it, guys. You know, it's like, I love, this book is the best thing that I have ever done. And I'm getting more and more ready to say, how do I word this? I'm getting more excited about when I finish this book, really getting the chance to think about how I'm going to, what I'm going to do with the sequel. Like, already, once I get to a certain point in the process, I won't allow myself to think of like, oh, well, what's next? Because I don't ever want to take my eye off the prize. But there's a natural point that you get to where I guess your brain starts to kind of know it can consider that, because now I can see all the layout pages and I can see what I have to do. And I just started having ideas, and I made this promise to myself. Oh, thank you so much, guys. You guys are the best. Yeah, that's right, man. That's what it is. Green Laser knows what I'm talking about. But you start thinking about these things and you go, all right, I know what I'm going to do, but it's not like I don't have a pre-planned, like, oh, here's what this thing is going to be, you know, and I know where it's going, you know, from here. That's a way of doing things. It's a great way of doing things. I know that Ethan more or less knows the story for Cyberfrog, and there's a lot of people who work that way. With me, I try to treat every book like it could be the last, and I try to let the story unfold as I paint it, because maybe something comes out in this issue that I can do a callback to, or that that makes me think, oh hell, you know what I could do, and the what if is a huge part of what drives my work. You know, all of these stories come out of what if, and Disney used to talk about, you know, the idea of plussing things and all that other stuff, and trying to make things, you know, make sure the idea, you just put as much as you could into it. And I think if you don't begin with at least a little bit of an open mind, it can make it hard when there are opportunities that present themselves that you didn't see. And I think, you know, you see Ethan and other people really being good at sort of saying, oh, I never would have thought of this. I mean, shoot, what Cyberfrog was when he first created it is not what it is today. And it's better for it. Like, he's matured as an artist, and he's not stuck to it. And I'm always amazed by that, man. That's some of my favorite stuff. He's holy shit. Sorry, guys. Super chat. Holy cow. That's always great to see. Thank you so much, Robble13. I do appreciate it. It will go to good things. My gosh. And of course, because I have a super chat, I know you guys have missed them. Our two cheerleaders at the Waffle Lodge. This is for you, my friend.
Charge!
That's for you, brother. Thank you so much. I do appreciate the super chat, man. Those things really do help. I only have moments of pride in my artwork. Then I realize how much I see that's better. I love all that stuff. Even Truth, Justice, American Way, I might not like, but I support it with my dollars. Okay, yeah. I mean, is that it? Is that what you're talking about, Truth, Justice? I'm just making sure I'm getting that right. Thank you for inspiration. Oh my gosh, thank you for inspiration. I appreciate it. You got me swearing, man. A legit swear from me, which is not like I don't swear. I didn't want to give Isom a bad review, but I was just tired of superheroes. I'm going more towards supernatural stories. You know what's interesting about that? There seems to be a pivot now, and maybe it's just the Hollywood thing, but I do think there seems to be a pivot towards kind of sword and sorcery stuff. And I don't just mean, well, actually, I should say there definitely is with House of Dragons, and I know Game of Thrones played a big role up until I know some of you were heartbroken. I haven't seen that show, so I know the pain is real. People have told me. But House of Dragons and The Witcher and things like that, and all the, speaking of people screwing things up. But it's either way you slice it. I think that the video game audience and the gamer audience and the the fans of that kind of stuff have basically been building it. And also I think manga has expanded sword and sorcery as a more mainstream thing, to where I think that we are witnessing a shift in terms of what people want to see out of their comics, because manga is not so locked into its genres as we are. But as I would argue, when people said, "Why, comics can be more than superheroes," I'm like, yeah, well, make that great comic book that's not just superheroes. I think Swamp Thing is a great example of that. There's been some really good ones, but it's we've got a lot to do if we want to make stuff that competes, and seriously competes. Let's see who we got here. Truth Justice, my brother Gabe's book. Check it out. Green Laser dropping links. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's see here. Sword and Sorcery Magazine, Tales of Novaterra, CG Sword and Sorcery Magazine. Hey, I'm game. That sounds great, man. Yeah, I do love me some sword and sorcery. A movie that I really dug that I saw recently, even though it's a little bit of a departure from the source material, was Solomon Kane, man. Really dug that. That was a fun flick. And funny enough, when I watched it, I was like going, hey, that's kind of like some stuff that happens in Nosfero, man. And I love that. I was like, oh, holy cow. It was awesome. I love seeing people, I don't know, visualizing certain things, because, there's Nosfero is a devout, theist, and he is, he's calling upon certain powers of good to, make, to wage the battle he does. And it's kind of, for me, that was a huge part of Peter Cushing. That was a huge part of things that are important to me. And I thought, when did we lose that kind of, stuff you see the Hammer horror movies doing, and I want to bring that stuff back, and I want to bring it with, with seriousness, with reverence, not with snark, and that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing, this is going to be a very, very rich story, man. It's going to be, just in terms of visually as it unfolds. Like, let me do this. Let me move this camera up just a little bit so you guys can get a better look. Have you seen Northman? I was just ranting about that before. So yeah, I know I've got my issues with that flick, but there's some things about it that I like. Some of the visuals, I just, story-wise, it kind of killed me. But yes, I have seen it. Yep. Supernatural is a bigger story. Yeah, absolutely. Phil wrote one of the stories, as did Eddie Winkler in that magazine. Very cool. Acevedo and Middleton as well. Gosh, that sounds like an all-star lineup. I love hearing that, man. Yeah, we've got some really, really skilled people in CG. And just the independent scene. I should include Eric July and all the other people in that space. And I do hope that we continue to see, I don't know, we continue to see this whole thing kind of bubble up with creativity and people doing work, because ultimately this whole thing only works if people are promoting their stuff, promoting their channels, and working like crazy. Like I said to my wife today when we were out, for a walk, I go, I can't even explain when she's, when she's like, I'm like, I just feel like I need to go for a walk. I'm feeling stressed out. And she's like, what are you stressed out about? I go, babe, I can't even explain it to you because it's so complicated. Or she said, can I help? And I said, it would take me forever to explain to you what it is. And then I would have to train you to be able to do it, to help. It's just one of those things that, there's only a handful of people you can ask about those kinds of things. You know how it is. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Because it's just, like I'm one of the stretch goals we hit, and the last stretch goal is getting Eric Weathers to be the letterer, and I can't think of anybody I trust more to work on this book. I mean, it's not something I take lightly because Eric is an amazing artist in his own right. He's a good friend. I mean, he's just been super supportive and enthusiastic about the stuff we're doing, and I like the stuff he's doing, and it's just cool, man. It's very, very cool to see people you admire who are also artists in their own right, and you know, just like I said, I mean, there's no one else I can imagine bringing on board to this thing. It's great, you know. It's really, I mean, it's great that he's you know, that he exists. There, how's that? How's that for a compliment? It's great he exists. I'm glad he exists. But yeah, I mean, it's like for me, the movie that you guys say the most that I have not seen, and I've heard so many recommendations for it, is 13th Warrior. I've heard so many people say, dude, you've got to see the 13th Warrior. You've got to. So I've really got to make sure I get that, you know, get that sorted at some point, because it comes up all the time. All the time. There we go. You know, I saw my wife today because she was like, you know, she's like, what's on your mind? And I go, I'm just kind of, you know, I'm thinking really hard. I'm thinking really hard, lady. And I just knew today was going to be one of those days, those painting days, where after I got all of the Waffle Lodge stuff sorted to the extent that I wanted to get it sorted, that I was just going to be tearing it up with the paint today. And you guys are kind of seeing that process unfold. Just in terms of like how much work that you want to do to get, you know, good progress in on pages. And these 2 pages, it's like sometimes you see pages you like and you're like, all right, don't eat your dessert first. That's going to be, you know, easier to paint and or more, you know, more fun and more playful. Paint the really frustrating stuff first. And like I said, I'm pretty brutal with myself as far as all that stuff goes. And that's what we're doing right here. You know, let's see. Robble13 says, Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix. I haven't, but I want to check it out. I did see Guillermo del Toro's exhibition of his stuff, which is so great. And it's so fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I actually filmed it in Toronto when I went up there to the, I forget what it's called, but the Toronto museum that's up there. And it was great, man. There were so many amazing originals there. It was beautiful. Though there do I see my father. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that book was nuts. Indeed, it was. Dude, I was in the actual filming of 13th Warrior. Are you serious? No kidding. I'm eating a crab po' boy. What y'all got? Oh, I wish I had a crab po' boy right now. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, it's I've got an intense feeling of hunger, and a will to win, a will to kick ass on this shit. Because I want you guys, look, I want this to be a huge success for my family, for you guys, for everything that I'm doing. And I care about this art form. I care about this. I care about this country. I care about this art form. I care about storytelling. I care about all of this stuff. It all means so much to me because, you know, storytelling can save your life. And I know it certainly has for me. When I was a kid, if it wasn't for having heroes and things to look up to, I don't know what the hell I would have done. You know, I just don't know what I would have done. And I had, you know, David Michelini and Todd McFarlane showing me Mary Jane and Peter Parker's marriage and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, like dealing with things like, you know, financial stresses and all that stuff. And I think I had heroes like Luke Skywalker, for that matter, who, you know, talked about how you can come from, you know, middle of nowhere and do something great, you know, and how to just sort of follow your gut. I certainly wouldn't be here if I wasn't inspired by that character in George Lucas. And so, yeah, man, it's like, this is the shit right here. This is what we got to do. That's right. Crab po' boys, make it happen. I love that, man. That's great. Yeah, I do love our shorthand that we have here, you know. That's what makes it all fun, man. Let's see here. Right, rotating it upside down. That's how you got to do it. There we go. go. And some of these lines that you're seeing right now, some of these lines are, they get moved and all that stuff. But, when you're in a zone, usually you'd be surprised how much of this stuff is going to last, just because if you're in the right frame of mind, it just, it all comes together. And like I said, I hope when people see it, if it looks like it's fun when it's being made, I hope it looks like something they want to buy. And I think sometimes the best advertising I do for Nosfero, and it's weird. Like I told my wife this one time, I go, the cool thing about it is I can post a really great panel of Nosfero on Twitter and see backers move and see people wanting to buy the book. And that's I'm very grateful for that. I sued Hellboy to accept being gay as a teenager. He was different. Hellboy, he was different than his peers, and it grabbed me. Mike's art held me. Hellboy wanted to just be seen as an equal. The work spoke. Hey man, that's how it works. Used. Okay, I was about to say, what the hell are you suing Hellboy for? What did Hellboy do to you? That makes more sense. Oh my gosh. I know George Lucas is a billionaire, but he must be living. Yeah, it is heartbreaking. I don't doubt that it's heartbreaking. George probably saw it coming. I think he did once the sale happened. An Italian beef and sausage sandwich. Man, you guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. Ugh. Yeah, like I was sitting here, like all of a sudden I was sitting here going, wow, Hellboy got sued. That sucked. And now I feel better about it. It's like, God, I was lost for a minute there. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about these stories, right? It's like you can absolutely bring anything to a good story. You know what I mean? It's like that's probably the great tragedy of the myopic view of storytelling, which is to say, and Yanzi had a great line about this. Yanzi Lin had a great line about this, but it's like it's not about, if it's about seeing yourself in a character for you to be able to relate to them, then one, there's probably something wrong with you, and two, it's that's probably not a good thing in terms of like your ability to relate and identify with other people. I did not look a thing like Luke Skywalker. That was not the point. You know what I mean? At all. The point was that, there's this youthful experience of, trying to figure out who you are, and also that going on the adventure. I mean, we hear the hero's journey and the Joseph Campbell thing all, the time. But I think that we're seeing stories about people in their day-to-day lives who are not sort of the cautionary tale of never going on the journey, of never trying something you've always wanted to try. I really wanted to learn the violin a couple of years ago. I'm in my 40s. It's like, well, why do that? You know what I mean? Like, people are like, well, it's like, not like you're ever going to become a concert. No one was saying this. I'm just saying that the reasoning is it costs money, and no, you're never going to be a concert level violinist. But it's like, yeah, but I'm the only way I'm going to have this experience is if I do it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I pictured Lucas as Woody Harrelson in Zombieland, sopping with tears with hundreds. Yeah, sopping tears with hundreds. I love that. Hungry. Yeah. Love Hellboy. Hellboy is my creature from the Black Lagoon. Yes, very nice. Chat, who are your favorite characters? Indian Luke. That's right. Tandoori Luke. You can lead people to something magnificent, but you can't make them see it. Amen. I went on the Chinese Luke journey. That's right. That's right. My favorite, I don't know, Hellboy's good. I'd say Hulk, King Kong. King Kong's a big one for me. Love King Kong. I love the Wolfman, of course, and werewolves. King Kong might be my one. I love King Kong as a character. But, Millicent Patrick's Creature from the Black Lagoon design is one for the ages. You can never go wrong with that. Never go wrong with that. Just a great character. Just a great character. And character design as well. But, I mean, it's just like, I love those drawings. I love I forget the sculptor's name, Chris. Oh, darn, I forget what his name was. But who sculpted the Creature from the Black Lagoon. He was amazing, too. He did great work. But the only person who really didn't do anything on it was Bud Westmore, the person who took all the credit, right? That's how it sometimes goes. He was just a jerk, man. Good Lord. There we go. Just getting a little bit of that reflected light in there. Like what goes on in this space is going to be, just, values and different things as they work. But like what you're seeing right now on the page, this is the heavy lifting of a page like this, or a panel on a page like this. Because the way that the snake is designed, it's going to be framing this panel like that. It's going to be sweeping in front. Wolfman does have NARS. Yeah, we talked about that on this channel. We talked about Monster Squad. I love Van Helsing, though I might be in the minority. You know what's interesting? I like where your head's at, Timmy Mello. I love Van Helsing as well. I think it's a fun flick. I think it's got a great look to it. But I would say a character I really identify with right now is Solomon Kane, man. I love that. Yeah, Creature from the Black Lagoon, says Apex Comics, Hulk, and Captain America. That's such a funny thing. Someone asked me who my two favorite comic book characters were. And my buddy said, and I said the same too. We were like Captain America and the Incredible Hulk. You're in good company, my friend. Robble 13, but Wolfman has NARS indeed. A guy wants to believe something like King Kong could exist. You're absolutely right. King Kong, of my figures that I have over there, is the most represented character. I have a Rebor gorilla statue that's totally Peter Jackson's King Kong. I have a Peter Jackson's King Kong Mezco figure. I've got a Star Ace Kong Skull Island figure over there just because I loved it standing upright. And I've got an original 1933 NECA King Kong there. I've got Kongs everywhere. I've got a Kong statue over there. I love this stuff, man. It's the stuff I live for. Just really, really cool stuff. All right. I think this is coming together, guys. Look at this. 20 people watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Yeah, sub to Jay Ryan's YouTube channel. There it is right there. The link is there. At age 42, I feel like old man Logan. I'm telling you, at age 46, I'm feeling it too as well. A guy wants to believe something like King Kong exists. Just making sure I got all this stuff here. Yeah, but you know what's so cool about it is 42 is the year of the answer, right? According to Hitchhiker's Guide. So I really enjoyed 42 that year, and I could be wrong. Let me think. Well, maybe it was around that time. I'm not exactly sure, but no, because I'm 46 now. So it would have been, I would say 44 or 43 was right around the time that I really, maybe it was 42. 42 or 43 is when I started really seeing the Fandom Menace and got into Ethan stuff and his streams and all those guys. And that was a big year for me changing. 43, I think I'm going to just be, if I overshoot it, I overshoot it. But that was a big, big time for me. And it formed a lot of things that led directly to me, leaving my job and just saying, I'm done. I can't do this crap anymore. And I loved teaching. I loved helping students, but I was not interested in the bureaucratic, woke insanity they were pushing. Well, let's just call it what it is. Marxist shit they were pushing. And so that's why I ended up here. So those are good years sometimes. Shanth is a Kong fan, confirmed. Yeah, I mean, guys, my first art book is just first and second art book have Kong is very well represented. I let you know if I like 42 after Tuesday. Well, hey, happy birthday early, by the way. Or unless, of course, you're just looking at it and you're done with 42. But do let me know, man. Van Helsing, you murderer. That's right, man. Shanth, have you seen the Furray Planet Werewolf figure? Is that the one that comes in both like a gray and a brown, and it's hyper articulated with like a cloth costume? There was one I saw that looked really sick. I loved it. It looks great. 1 meal a day is helping 63 feel more like 43. You know what? I'm doing that right now. I'm trying to cut my meals back, and not in a way like that's like, oh, it's agony, but I mean, it really has helped me a lot. Let me see here. Furray Werewolf. Furray Planet Werewolf figure. Let me see. Oh, holy, yeah, I think I have seen that one. Holy cow, dude. That's a great sculpt on the face. Oh, I know what I know these cats for. Did they do a crocodile or something? Hang on a second. Yes, they did. They did a Maestro Union. That's it. Yeah, their crocodile is sick, man. Wow. Yeah, that's some cool stuff. I hadn't seen the werewolf, but I'd seen the crocodile, man. Cool stuff. Is your art book available anywhere still? There may be a copy or so left as an add-on if you back the book, but I don't know. I don't know if there's any left at this point. I know the double pack was available, but now I think if you back the book, you can go to the add-on section and get it. But I don't even know if those are all sold out because everything on that campaign is selling out. I told my wife today I'm getting to the point to where I think that at some point soon I may remove the art book and have it just be the art book and print available. So I'm not the art book. I'm sorry, the comic book with the print, because to me, it's like it's getting to that point to where I'm just like, I almost want that $25 book. I think it's almost time to close it. I'll let people know. I'll like talk about it on stream before I do something like that, but it's definitely something I'm thinking about right now. So because I just think it's like that book, when I sell that book again, it will be at least $35 for that book, just for everything that's involved in it. And but we'll see. It's because I want to make sure I insulate myself from a flood of, when I'm close the campaign, a flood of people backing it at that level, because it's like, it's great, and thank you guys for backing that book, but it's like, holy cow, it's a lot to produce something like this. But like I said, I'll let everybody know beforehand. There we go. Do you guys see what the sweep of this is going to be? Let me see if I can show this to you guys. Does this make sense? Hey, what's up, Leg Kick One? Great to see you. Hail, Sean. Going to sleep? Just saying hi. Absolutely, my friend. Sleep well. Mr. Hyde was cool in Van Helsing. Yeah, that was creepy, man. I was wondering if they were trying to do like a Hunchback thing. The lore of inspiration for Kong goes all the way back to Sun Wukong and Hanuman. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it does. I love that stuff, man. Yeah, absolutely. Later, Leg Kick One, and much love. Yeah, man. But you guys can see what we're doing here. So this is how this stuff starts out, guys. So here is the layout page right there. And then when we start figuring out how it's going to go to final, it's always going to undergo some changes. It's a little bit more of a horizontal lower panel here. And right here, I think it got a little bit more vertical, a little bit more boxed in. But you guys can see how this stuff works. There's going to be so much cool Nosfero stuff coming out soon, guys. There's just going to be a ton of it, man. And like I intend to do another printing of this book at some point, but again, not for what I'm charging now. And it'll have, we'll see like what that is. Like don't bank on that, because this has got to make sense. And I've got, another art book in me and other stuff like this, but this one's got to just keep going and growing, and I'm only focused on this right now. And I got to tell you guys, it's paying off. This is one of the best pages I think I've done in this book. John, it's great to see you. I'm here. You didn't start without me, did you? Yeah, I did, sadly, and I'm wrapping up too now, John. But guys, thank you for being here. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It's been about an hour and 45. I got to grab some food and things like that. But thank you guys for coming in here. Always appreciate it. I had to fire up the grills. I had to fire up the Waffle Lodge for you guys, because it's fun. I mean, I love doing this. And we're going to have more of the Forge and more of the Lodge, I promise, because I need variation in my diet and I need variation in my streams, guys. And you guys make it all worth it. So thank you so much, everybody. It's been great seeing you here. I'm going to close out with a couple of things. But the first and foremost I'm going to do is the new, Robble13, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that so much, my friend. All right, so let's get those cheerleaders up there for you. We got to get those cheerleaders up there for you. So here you go, guys. Here are the girls. I know you missed them. Charge! You guys are the best. Thank you so much. But let me say this to you guys. We're going to be having more fun on this channel. Don't you worry. And I'm going to close this out with all the channel members' credits. Every time I stream, anybody who becomes a member, I'm going to add your name to that credits list. So you see your name in light. Stephen Rockwood, General Piggy, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. And for being members of this channel. It is much appreciated. And you guys are awesome. And like I said, we just keep doing what we do here. We're going to make great stuff, and it's going to be a blast. So take care, everybody. Stay gold. You guys are the best, and I will see you guys soon. Take care of yourself, and stay strong, stay bold, stay gold. And of course, peace, everybody. I will see you guys very, very soon. Sean doesn't want a chance of YouTube strike with the nipples. You aren't even kidding, man. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, guys, take care, and I will see you guys soon. Bold and gold. That's the way we do it here. That's the way we do it. All right, guys, take care, and I will see you soon.
Hard work, dedication, hard work, dedication.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do ya?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No guts, huh?
I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.